Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you into the world of professional wrestling. I'm Fisher and I'm here with our episode 2 of our new show, TopMarks and SkidMarks, where I go through my favourite segments of the week and my least favourite segments of the week from TV wrestling, so not including pay-per-views, but from AEW, Dynamite, NXT, SmackDown and Raw, and it probably will include Collision when that starts in a couple of weeks. This is take 2 of this video. I just recorded. I got 6 minutes in and my camera froze, so hopefully that doesn't happen again and I can talk about it. I got almost all to the end of my top marks and then it went off. As last week, same format. So I leave my segment of the week to the end, but I'll go through my favourite segments from the week, my least favourite segments of the week, and then end on a positive. So I've not got many negatives this week at all. So won't be too long a video hopefully, but I'll explain my top marks. I'll start with NXT and the ending of NXT. Really cool to see. Again, I mentioned last week, main roster people coming to NXT. I've always liked that. And we've had Corbin, we've had Ali, we had Dana Brooke this week in the Battle Royal. But the cool thing was Bron Breakker at the end of the show calling out Seth Rollins for a World Heavyweight Championship match on NXT TV, which would be huge for NXT. It's cool for the World Championship, sort of open to challenge anybody, and the match will be good. So there is literally no negatives to this. This is awesome, and I really like stuff like this. And to see someone a bigger star as Seth go down to NXT for a match would be really, really cool. They've had AJ Styles down there in the past, but yeah, current world champion, awesome stuff. Really, really like that. AEW, I'm going to talk about another segment from there. They had some good matches this week, of course, as they always do, but the MJF promo with Adam Cole was my favourite thing from Dynamite this week. MJF back to his best, properly meaty feud. You've had the 4-way, that was good, but it didn't feel like a believable world title feud necessarily. This does more. And yeah, some of the stuff they use the carrying cross. They make me feel special by ringing the freaking bell reference. They referenced Keith Lee's manager stuff. They referenced Adam Cole's. I don't want to call it body issues because he hasn't got body issues, but online, people saying he doesn't look like a wrestler and stuff. They used MJF's breakup, Adam Cole coming back with that. They mentioned Vince McMahon by name, saying he didn't see him as a main eventer. They used lots of stuff that I thought was relevant here. Sometimes I cringe when they use WWE references and they directly reference it, but they used it well in the storyline here. It didn't just feel cheap, so I liked it. Overall, really good segment, and yeah, I'm glad this is a few going forward. Raw had a couple of really good matches this week, despite Vince McMahon apparently interfered with the show a little bit, but it didn't affect it. I thought Raw was solid this week, some good segments, a couple of match finishes maybe questionable, but the wrestling on the show was really good, and that is what I like to see, and the people used. And so yeah, one of them has got to be Kevin Owens and Gunther. Regular followers of Recharge Wrestling will know that they're two of, if not my two favourite wrestlers, particularly in WWE, and to see them have a one-on-one match was so cool. Some people might say they wasted it by putting it on TV, but it was awesome. And I think they left more, the thing is they left more in the tank for down the line as to get a proper Intercontinental title or World title match maybe in the future, because they had a roll-up finish, some shenanigans, etc. But the match itself was amazing. One of the best matches I've seen on Raw in a long time. I saw people tweeting saying it might be the best Raw match in like a decade or something, and I don't disagree. I mean, obviously, I haven't got a list of matches to stack it up against, but it was a really, really good match. I really, really enjoyed that, and also Rollins and Priest. I mentioned earlier Rollins, defending the belt. It's added something important to Raw, something to fight for. You've got the Intercontinental title with Gunther. We've got this title. Before we just had Austin Theory in the US title, which didn't feel particularly main event level, and it's only one belt. Whereas now we've got this, and it feels so important. And it's given matches stakes on Raw and things, something to fight for. So I'm very happy with the way the world titles were booked so far. And yeah, they had a really good match as well, I should expect, with Rollins retaining. Over to SmackDown. Before I get to my skid marks and then my segment of the week, LA Knight getting in the Money in the Bank match. A lot of clamour online for him to win Money in the Bank. And it was interesting because he was against Montez Ford, and I thought maybe he could be in the match as well. You know, would it be crazy if Montez Ford beat LA Knight? But LA Knight won. It was a good match as well with Ford. I thought they had a good TV match, probably the best match on SmackDown last week. And LA Knight is in there, and I'm happy because we get to see him in the Money in the Bank match live. So that's, you know, a personal reason as well why maybe it's in my top marks. But whether he wins it or not, I'm glad he's in the match. And yeah, I hope he wins. Out of the people in it so far, you know, if they had someone else that I want to win, maybe not. But yeah, they are my top marks of the week. A couple of skid marks, not a lot to talk about, to be honest with you. Haven't got a lot from AEW this week. I thought everything was quite solid. There was nothing bad. Last week I mentioned Tony Khan's announcements getting on my nerves. He did make another one here, so it's a little tiny thing that was annoying. The booking in the women could still be better, although I like the fact that Chris Statlander, now she's got the TBS titles, defending it on the show. But yeah, overall nothing to complain about. I've got two proper things really that I think are worth mentioning. So start with NXT, Dabba-Kato and Scripts. Strange booking. Babyface outnumbering the heels, Axiom coming down, and just two people that aren't great in the ring. Have been on the main roster, don't really get the Scripts Reggie character. Dabba-Kato, not got much about him. Yeah, not great this, to be honest with you. And then my other skid mark is going to be the Grayson Waller effect from SmackDown, which annoyed me because for two reasons really. First of all the women coming out, you know, when they all come out in a row and they all make an argument, those kind of segments are really boring and overdone in WWE, and they get people on TV, and I get that, but they're normally rubbish, and this wasn't really any different in that sense. And also for Grayson Waller, so far his call-ups have really, it's just been there to direct other people's feuds. He's had two episodes of Grayson Waller effect, one with AJ Styles when he was facing Seth Rollins, and here with the women, really it was about Asuka and everyone who wants to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and yeah, it's not hitting for me so far. And I think if you're going to call him up, you should have had a direction for him. He's a very, very good talker. He can wrestle in the ring. Put him in a match. Put him in a feud with somebody. And I think we can have takeoff with him. It's still early days, but so far a bit of a waste of Grayson Waller. That is one thing I will say. And then that leaves my top mark of the week, and to the surprise of nobody, this week the top mark of the week is going to the Bloodline and the ending of SmackDown. Superbly done yet again by the members of the family. Roman Reigns crying, great acting. Jay, the ending of what will Jay do, you know, in this week, finding out. Paul Heyman added to it as well on Raw, which was a nice little segment. And yeah, just the turning, some of the lines Jimmy Uso used, calling him manipulative and etc. And so true and really well done. Really, really enjoyed what they did there. And yeah, just brilliantly done. And the Bloodline storyline is cooking again. From sort of Survivor Series, or maybe before that, to WrestleMania, it was outstanding. Then WrestleMania's Backlash, it really suffered. Roman wasn't around much, and really it was a bit stale. They added Riddle into it. It didn't really make much sense. Felt like it was just going on for the sake of it. But now you've moved KO and Sami sort of away from it, concentrated on the OG Bloodline members, and it's cooking again, and it's really good. And yeah, I can't wait for this week to see what happens with Jay. Jimmy's been, of course, taken out by Solo after that hug. You know, Jimmy was willing to sort of put it behind him, I guess, and carry on. Didn't turn out that way. Roman has got rid of him from the Bloodline. And Jay will be next, but when will it happen? You know, will it happen here on Friday? Will Jimmy have a match at Money in the Bank with Roman, and then Jay has to make a decision there, and we get to see that live in person? Will it drag on till SummerSlam? Or will there even be more twists? So something happened with Solo. Solo's a key interest in this. So there's so many directions you can go in, and that's what's always been really good about this Bloodline storyline. So yeah, that's my segment of the week this week. Totally not surprising at all. If you haven't seen my first video episode of this, go back and watch it on the channel, on our Recharge Wrestling YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Like this video. Leave comments if you like the format of this. If you're commenting with your favourite segment of the week, your least favourite segment of the week. We'd love to hear from you. Follow us at Recharge Wrestle for more sort of interaction. We'll be having Money in the Bank coming up. We'll be having predictions. We'll hopefully have some live content from it. We've got All In coming up in August, which we'll be going to as well. So exciting times for us as individuals, but exciting time for the channel as well. But we've got ideas and live content coming. So yeah, really, really excited. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled. I've been Fisher. See you next time.